Okay, so now let's start coding the course selling application. Okay, I created a folder called mini projects. In that, I created a branch called course selling app. Okay, I will put history. So you will see. Okay, this is the command I used to create a branch called course selling app. And after that, what all I did, I created a directory called server, and then I initialized the node project, and then I installed all these modules. Okay, and it is always advisable to follow a particular code structure. Okay, so the folder structure, this is a folder structure advised. When you install the modules, the node modules folder will get created. Okay, and then you need to have a source directory. In that, you need to have different directories, right? Config for all the configuration files, um, controllers. Okay, you can also go to chat GPT and then ask for best folder structure for node project. The chat GPT is going to give you the structure for a node project. Okay, so this is kind of a little different, but it's okay. So models, basically you'll have all the code which defines the schema for different collections in your database. Routes contain the code for all your routes, right? And your business logic, okay, will be in the service folder, and common functions will be in your utils folder. Okay, and the main file starts here, right? It's app.js. Okay, so we'll create this folder structure and we'll put our code here. Okay, and the package or JSON, right? It contains the detail of all your dependency and scripts. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so now let me go to the source server folder which I already created. I already created, so the server folder I already installed, so I'm able to see node modules, packet.json. Okay, packet.json. Package.json contains shows a list of the scripts and the dependencies you have. Okay, and then okay, so now let's go to the source folder and I will let me create a file called app.js. If you do a touch app.js, it just creates an empty file. Okay, now if you see in your thing, right, empty file is created. Okay, so now here I'm going to start coding. Okay, so first I have to import, okay, the express.
డబుల్ కోట్స్ వాళ్ళ
Okay, okay, the first thing in the backend I need to do is I need to start a server. Okay, so for that I create a variable called app. Okay, I create a variable and then I will do app dot listen. I give a port number. Oh my god, listen. I give a port number, probably 5001. Okay, and a function. Okay, so here I can log server is listening on 5001. Okay. Okay, the next thing you have to do is you have to connect to a Mongo database. So for that, I'm just having a function connect. Okay. So in the connect, I am basically connecting to a Mongo database. Here, this Mongo is a environment variable. Okay. So if you go to this .env, right here, I'm having this environment variable. Here I have the string to connect to the Mongo database. So the Mongo database, I'm using Atlas MongoDB. So the Mongo database is there in the cloud. So if I give the URL, I can connect to the database. So here I am also having one more environment variable as 5001. This is the port number where our server listens. Okay, so in app.js, okay, what I'm doing is this dot, I'm importing this module .env. I'm doing dot config. This dot config, right? What it does it reads this environment file and all the variables, and it puts in the user environment. Okay, so this user environment, all the environment variables in the user environment can be accessed via process.env. So now, because of since we use .config, our environment variable became part of user environment, which is available in this object, and so we can access the Mongo. Similarly, this port number also we can use the environment variable which we defined, and I think it should work. Okay, if I save it, I'm able to run it. Okay, so let's also see how did we run our application. Okay, so this is how you connect to a MongoDB. But here, right, usually when you connect to a database and all, always put it in the try catch block so that you can catch the error and see what error has actually happened. And I need to wait for this connection to be successful. So I add a await. Since it is an await, right, I am putting this function as asynchronous function because I don't want I want this function to be processed parallelly. So I add async and await. So you can add await only in async function. Okay. Otherwise you cannot add await. So await just waits for this function to return. Until then it waits. Okay. So we are connected to a Mongo database. Now how we start our application? So if we go to package.json, for start, right, I have mentioned node-mon source app.js because app.js is in source directory, and then I have given type module so that I can use in my application I can use this import option. Okay, so now if I do a npm start, whatever command I have given here, right, this command will be executed. So if you see here, the node-mon source, whatever command you have given here, right, that is what got executed. Okay, and now we are connected to a database.